Let me put my speaker on. Welcome to RenéMarie Stroke of Luck. This is going to be an extraordinary show because it encompasses everything. And Matthew and I have such a connection. And that connection stems from softball and baseball and really the life lessons that we had to take from our experiences playing over 25 years of softball and baseball each, to how we recovered from our strokes. So it really is a show that's very close to my heart. And thank you so much to Judy, of course, for all the work that she does on this show to bring it together, because I say it every day, every week, and I'm going to say it every week. This show would not happen without the work that Judy does. So thank you so much, Judy. You're incredible.
Thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
enjoy
You're
doing
welcome.
it.
You're welcome. And also to Jim in Long Island, doing the back end work, the technical engineer. He does an incredible job. It's really a blessing. Another piece that Matthew and I are going to touch on is how aphasia really affected us. As we were talking in the Zoom green room, as I always call it, you know, we suffer from a stroke, but no one knows the silent part of that, and that's aphasia. And of course, the Maywood Adler Aphasia Center is an extraordinary example of finding a place, a safe zone for stroke and aphasia patients or members to really to feel safe enough to talk about and to experience and to work on their speech therapy, because another part of that aphasia is that a stroke is a brain trauma, and although we don't know it that we're stroke patients, it really does affect us in our emotions, and we don't know that those boundaries of everything is shattered, and we're really emotional and really I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but tender in how we're experiencing life in general. So we're going to have a really intimate discussion with Matthew about that, because he suffered from aphasia as well, and I really am appreciative of him being a part of this show. But before we begin, we always let Judy read her press that she does, because I think it kind of leads in the way into the show. So Judy, can you take that on for me?
Certainly. Matthew was an avid athlete in high school, and his baseball team won the state championship. He received a scholarship to play baseball at a local college. The college required all baseball players to get an EKG, and to Matthew's surprise, he failed the EKG. The echocardiogram revealed he had a heart condition which caused his aorta to enlarge. He was diagnosed with an ascending aortic aneurysm. December 28, 2006, Matthew had open heart surgery. The doctor replaced the malfunctioning valve and placed a surgical graft on his aorta. After recovering, he was able to finish his 4 years of college at Farmingdale State College, earning a bachelor's degree. Matthew was cleared to play after the first season, playing baseball for the remaining 3 years. During that time, he and his team went to the 2009 NCAA Division III World Series at Fox City Stadium, Grand Chute, Wisconsin. He was called for the New York City police, but after having a physical, was denied due to having open heart surgery. Matthew then became a part-time public safety officer at a local college on weekends and a full-time heating and air conditioning contractor for a small company. November 2017, he changed occupations and was newly employed by Local 3 Electrical Union as a full-time apprentice. A few weeks later, after his health problems continued with a second surgery to replace the malfunctioning heart valve in 2006, April 18, 2018, he suffered a massive ischemic stroke and his life changed forever. Matthew will discuss his long recovery at age 30, his extensive occupational, physical, and speech therapy, and that he couldn't return to the workforce. However, he did keep in touch with his high school baseball coach, volunteering to help at baseball practices and local games, volunteered at a local neighbor's gym cleaning equipment. Matthew's life has changed, but he feels in a positive way. He's learned how precious life is and to never give up. That's his bottom line. His goal for the future is to go back to work one day, drive, and do all the things he did prior to his stroke. His hope is one day that his speech will be fluid enough to become a motivational speaker. And his dream is that one day there will be a medical breakthrough with stem cells to allow him and others to regain movement in their hands and fingers. Welcome, Matthew, to RenéMarie Stroke of Luck Show.
How we doing?
Good, good. There's something that I want to, because I'll forget, because
Yes.
I forget. I want to share that I believe that you are at that point in your life that you should begin to do speeches. And I'll tell you why. Because when you're quiet like you are, and you speak and you have that little bit of tenderness or still a little bit of aphasia, that people will tune into you closer. They'll tune into you closer. They'll get a feeling that this is somebody that really has experienced life, and they'll listen closer to your story. Just my thought on that.
Yeah.
Because you know, I don't suffer from the speaking difficulties anymore. Although I will tell you that on the back skirt, I do when I get tired suffer from keeping things organized, and keeping my speaking organized and keeping my writing organized because I'm tired. So I know that that's just, and my friend and confidant and Dominic Cordelesa told me, then you don't have to do it then. You don't have to do it then. You can tell them you'll get back to them tomorrow. So
Exactly right. Yeah.
So
It's because it's for me too. Yesterday at the party, Michael's birthday, and I talk chit chat for about 2 or 3 hours too. But I'm exhausted yesterday because the toll in my brain is fatigued. So maybe have a break too and recharge the batteries today too, and start reading again too and speaking again now too, again today too. So it's the brain is healing the body too.
and the other thing that I've learned, and we'll get to, but if we don't talk about this now, I'll forget. And that's one of my stroke things too. It's like it's over. So another thing, that I've learned is, create a PowerPoint presentation. You do, like on your laptop, just get slides and put in bullet points for yourself. Okay. And just start to create it that way, because that way you can always have guidance to what you want to talk about. And that when you get off track, that will kind of navigate you back onto track. You know what I'm saying? So because sometimes we as stroke patients or, stroke survivors, we forget what it is that what we were gonna say, what I'm saying? So, and honestly, the audience will understand, like, you could just say, okay, I know I've got off track. Let me take a look. Like if you let people in to your world, they'll be more understanding and more engaged in what you're saying, and it will be very, very powerful. Very, very powerful.
It's the maybe 2+ years ago too, the PowerPoint too. I got the PowerPoint and
perfect.
Slides at the slides too for maybe two years too. And I went to Hofstra University too, the class, and I tell the story again too. but no PowerPoint too. It's totally fresh too. And I do it pretty good. Speech pathologist and the professor and me, and interview for me, and tell us about what happened, and tell us the story. And for 45 minutes too, maybe one or two words, maybe for me too. It's frustrated, but maybe I did it myself too. And I like the attitude. I like going to class and explain about what aphasia means to me too, and explain about that, and two open heart surgeries, and baseball, and matter of man, and tell us the story. I kind of like it for
Yeah,
me
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And that's what people love to feed into stories. Like
yeah,
doctors can get up and they could talk about their what a stroke is and what aphasia is, and that's all well and dandy. And
yeah,
people can give details, and honestly, I think there's a small percentage of the audience that really navigates towards those important details.
yeah,
Okay. But the rest of the audience just want to hear your story, and they
yeah,
want to know like how, and that's what I always say, like, how does it feel? Like people don't know how it feels to suffer from a stroke. They don't know how it feels to be a part of aphasia,
yeah,
to suffer from aphasia. They don't know what it feels like to want to say a word and you can't think of it. You know what I'm saying? That's so frustrating. Talk to
yeah.
us a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, it's for me too, going to speech class, and the words, I can't do it. It's the mindset too. But it's what type of word, or what type, I forgot it now. But it's a communication problem too. And
Yes.
it's a struggle too, but it's practice every time too, and hope so in time, more dedication, more practice, more words, and then it's maybe conversation. I like conversation because it's my nature too. I love it, but it's reading and writing is still difficult to this day for me. But it's got to practice. A children's book too, and but it's frustrating, man. It's I wanna the words, and I can't do it recently, but it is a challenge for me. So
But you know what I think, and this is another thing a Dominic Cordelessa taught me,
yeah,
and I don't need to go into my story of
yeah,
how Dominic Cordelessa came into my life, but I
okay,
believe there's angels in your life, right?
yeah,
There's
yeah,
there's people that walk this earth that sometimes they don't know what they're teaching you,
yeah,
but they are teaching you,
yeah,
and they teach you lessons, and if you're open to listen to those lessons,
yeah,
you get it. And I actually forgot what I was bringing Dominic Corlessa. Oh, I know. So it's about trusting in yourself, because we're scattered. Our brains, after this trauma, it's like, your computer needs to be defragmented. Everything needs to be set back in place. And how do we get to that place? How do we understand that? So what Dominic taught me is that you need to, when you're in that position where you're feeling frustrated, because frustration hinders your ability to remember or to speak well or to do something. You need to just take three breaths. You need to take a deep breath. You need to give trust in yourself. And honestly, like I just said to you, I forgot what Dominic taught me. Then just say it. Just
yeah,
say it. And once you're honest with everybody, another thing he taught me was speak from your heart. You know what I'm saying? You speak from your heart. You don't have to be perfect in what you're saying.
yeah,
You just speak from your heart, and people will understand what it is. So just take a deep breath and say it and or write it down a little bit, and you know, and eventually when you think of it, you come back to it and you say it.
And when
That's
you
it.
have aphasia and you're talking, a lot of people have trouble when they're presenting. They should take a pause so that they can give themselves an extra moment or two to say what they really want to say. And in addition, I want to inject that you are an angel on earth.
Yes, yes, yes. So while we're at that point, let's go back, because we always like to lead up. So let's go back to your childhood. Let's go back to the baseball years. You know, I mean, what age were you starting playing baseball? Why did you like baseball above any other sport?
My dad loves baseball too. So it's a passion for me too. 5 years old for me. I went to Cooperstown, 11, 12 years old too. And two home runs for me too. But it's experience wise too. And I kind of like it. And went to the championship in Westbury too, Clark, and won the Long Island Championship and state championship, and won too. So it's a dream job. It's a dream for me too, because I like the idea of a championship is the leader of the team wise too. So and for me too, it's a moment too. So it's I enjoy too, and I like um the impact for my life, changed the impact of my life for the change of the better too, because it's for me, it's a build for me is a legacy, and I'm doing right now because it's proven for me it's hard work pays off too. So you gotta
Practice.
yeah,
Well,
exactly right.
you do it in softball.
Yeah,
You do it in school.
yeah, yep,
You study. There's different
yep,
study practice.
yeah,
You do it, you know, in a job. You
yep,
know, you learn how to do jobs. You have to do that when you experience a stroke, or you experience a heart attack, you experience something in your life that's affects you as a person. You
yep,
know, you got to take care of yourself, as well as, you know, as well as your experience in, you know, playing softball or baseball or whatever.
yep,
And I love the fact that I wasn't sure if it was on the show, or we were talking in the Zoom green room before. You were saying that you actually help after your stroke, and we'll get to,
yep,
you know, continue on the story. And I want to make sure I point this out, is you help the coach, your high school coach, right, or your college coach. And I
yeah,
want to share how what an impact you are playing on the athletes' lives, to let them know they here is a guy that used to play ball, suffered a stroke, and look, he's back. He's
yeah,
back. He's back to be a part of us. The game is not over. So
yeah.
good. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, no, it's a I like winter workouts too. Uh Coach Abiscato, and friends for a very, very long time too. Coach Landini, Coach it's for me too. I like involvement too. I went to workouts too, so I pitch or catch it too, and for me too, I like chit chat. I like uh what's going on, how we doing, and I kind of like it. So, and the volunteer my time, it's JV, and I at home, and for me too, I like a part of me to conversation about what happened, maybe striking out. Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna explain about the strikeout. So change your batting stance or something like that. And so it's maybe next time it's swing or maybe mechanic parts of it too, or whatever too. And the ball is dropped too. Explain. Okay, so I like left field too because Mike Capella, great human being too, first baseman. So I like first baseman for lots of years, but left field for I'm fast. So the hill for Clark, it's the hill wise too. So for me too, explain about the left field. Okay, so you got to position yourself in a different location too. So I teach you about the different parts of the outfield too. And yeah,
And what
so
I
it's
what I'm getting from that is two things.
yeah,
I'm getting that if you continue to do something the same way, you're going to have the same results. You're going to strike out, right?
yeah,
You have
yeah,
to
exactly.
review what you do,
Yeah,
take a step back, review what you do, and
yeah,
change it. And it
yeah,
may be like this little change. It may be
that's it.
you have to put your foot up closer to the towards the pitcher, or you may need to bring it back, or you may need to put your elbow, so it
Yep.
could be the simplest little thing.
Yeah,
And then the other thing is, this is the biggest key to playing any single sport and in life, right, Matthew, is
yeah.
that you have to trust in yourself.
Oh yeah,
If you don't trust in yourself, if you're going to dive for the ball and you're going to do it hesitantly, you're going to get hurt.
yeah,
If you dive
exactly,
for the ball and you trust in yourself, you'll just pick it up and you'll throw it where it's got to go. So
exactly
talk to
right.
us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's trusting yourself too. It's I kind of like it too because the athlete too, it's the 11th or 12th grade too, right? You gotta go to college too, right? So you gotta do it yourself and correct wise too. You dive, you gotta dive for that. And let's see, because it's not scared. You are confident for me and yourself too. So in you got to trust me, all right? And play the game of love too. So and and maybe you got the ball and base hit. Okay, so round the third baseman and striking the catcher and tag it and you're out too. So it's a sport wise too for me too. I kind of like the attitude. So you gotta play baseball and you gotta love the game too. Not this it's
It's
not
there to pass,
not
not that you're there to pass the time. You're
yeah,
that's not going to
exactly.
work. You can't do anything halfway in life, and
Yeah,
I can't.
yeah.
I'm like, when
Me,
I'm in
yeah,
it for life. I'm in it.
yeah.
I'm all in. I'm
It,
all in.
it,
Yeah, and
yep,
the other thing that I understood from, and this just came to me, is
yeah,
I had the best coaches in the entire world.
yeah.
Pat
Okay.
Talafero, Barbara Stewart, Karen
Okay.
Meyer, they were the best coaches. And I said this on
Okay.
a show recently, how, and then I want you to tap into this,
Yeah,
because you said that they had to trust in you, which is true.
yeah,
And the coaches need to craft you to start to trust in them so that you could listen to them and you trust in what they're saying.
yeah.
I never, and I said this on my I think it was, if we were talking about baseball on another show or softball, and I'll never forget it. Like Pat Talafero is the best softball coach. I'm sure there's many wonderful softball coaches in the
Yeah,
world,
yeah,
but for me, she was the best. And I remember, having Pat coach me from Little League, and then I went to high school. Well, I was so in tune with Pat's voice that I was at third base playing in
okay.
close because I never wanted the bunt to get away from me. And she was, on the first base side and she used to talk to me and I used to hear her because when she used to give me instructions, it's like the whole world stops. I could just hear exactly what she's saying to me because I trusted in her. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's the coach too, right? Coach Abiscato in the college. Um, so you got to realize too, the third baseman is it's a coach too. Science, you gotta it's and for me too, batting too, right? So the science is maybe I don't know, maybe here too or something like that. And and maybe a squeeze play too, or a button play too, or something like that. Base hit, uh, second baseman, base hit, or first baseman, steal, or something like that. But it's third baseman too. It's a coach. It's Coach Abiscato. It's you got to for me too. The best coach for me in athlete parts of it too, because this is you got to realize that um playing the baseball and passionate about for me too, you got to impact the game too. So you got to stand and you do your job. That's it. Okay, fine. Awesome. So at bat, uh, button, whatever you pick too. And Coach Abiscato, it's for me too best coach in my life
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
It's
And
a
it's important to learn that young.
yeah,
How important the little league and high school coaches are because
yeah,
they're preparing us. And even if like we never, went into it professionally, right?
yeah,
But those educations and that teamwork and the dedication and the practice and all those tools that we could carry throughout our lives are so critical and important, so critical and important.
yeah. It's the it's for me too. About volunteer my time, right, for Clark, and um it's the 4 years ago too, April 18th, right?
Right.
And I'm coaching. It's volunteer, and after the game too, Coach Landini, and I wanna say the team. All right. So for me too, it's first real appearance for communication problems too. So maybe I'm gonna do it, and for 2 or 3 minutes too, and discuss about my story. Is it inspiration?
Mm.
Keep the attitude and keep faith too. And you gotta prove me wrong because the impact of my life for the better. So it's for me, and I kind of agree to no more talk about um the negative side. I like the talking the positive vibe because
Matthew,
yeah.
along those lines, what would you tell the audience listening that has aphasia when you went through the different occupational speech, physical therapies? How would you encourage them from your experience?
Yeah, so it's for me too. You got to stay strong. Got to stay strong. Dedication and passionate about the situation too. You are inspiration forever too. So impact your life for the better too. This is for me and you, and it's a community parts of it. Pick up the pieces and move on. So for me too, it's a I like teaching. I like going to rehab too. And for me too, I like challenge because for me, baby steps too, right? and it in time for me, and it's 4 years plus now, a little bit at a time, and proved me wrong. So it's the mindset too.
And
Um,
what do you tap into? Like when it really gets, when the struggles really get hard, when you're at your lowest of the lows, because we've all been there, whether we're stroke survivors or
yeah,
general people in life, life is difficult. What do you tap into? What do you hold on to? I
yeah,
go, I go into prayer. I go into, okay, all the positive people I have in my life, all the inspirations. I
yeah,
start to read. I turn on YouTube leadership or Joel
yeah.
Osteen or whatever it is. That's what I surround. That's how I try to get myself out of that. What do you do? What do you tap into?
I like for me too. I like walking long walks too. The mindset too. Have a break too. And I like hiking too. It's a passion now, and because it's the have a break. Have a break. It's once in a while have a break because
It
for
clears your
me,
mind.
yeah, exactly right too. I like meditation too. Good practice too, and I kind of like the attitude of once in a while, let's have a break. That's it. About
Yeah.
it. It's
And that's
a
and that's and that's an important thing. I'll
yeah,
tell you, because as a stroke patient, I remember, in the earlier, mine's been over 30 years, so I'm, well balanced. I try to balance my life. But,
okay.
in the early years, I remember like this fear, and just, you got to keep going, got to keep going, I got to keep going, I got to keep going. Where that's important. You have to focus, and you do have to keep pushing along, but you do need to rest, and you do need to go into the silence, and you do
Yeah.
need to allow yourself the availability to be at peace and in the silence. So talk to us a little bit more about that, because you were just tapping into that.
Yeah, it's all right. I like for me too, a lifestyle move too, right? Every time, for lots of times too, going to therapy constantly. But now it's switch my decision too, right? Working Monday and Tuesday. Now and Wednesday and Thursday going to speech class, and Friday going to occupational therapy and PT too. So the mindset too, have a break once in a while too, but you gotta understand it's my life and your life too. It's a positive vibe too, because you got to take a break. You gotta go to vacation. You got to have a trip too. Next this week too, and I'm gonna go to a bachelor party too.
Oh,
Have
Oh,
a
that's
break.
good.
great.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
yeah, because it's five weddings, three bachelor parties too. So it's 34 years old. So friends getting married too. So it's exactly right. So but it's a have a break once in a while too. It's retrain your brain too, and have a moment of silence too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And while you're in therapy, to trust
yeah,
each therapist, your speech therapist, your occupational
well,
therapist, your
yeah,
physical therapist, and try when you're home to practice some of the things that they
too.
taught
Yeah,
you. And that's very beneficial to anyone listening, to really trust your therapist and to use what they tell you when you're at home to apply it to your life
yeah,
in a
exactly right.
positive way.
You know what, though,
Yeah,
Judy, and I
yeah,
agree with you, and I agree with you, Matthew.
yeah,
But sometimes you have to find the right therapist, right?
yeah,
It's got to be somebody that's speaks your language or understands you. I mean, all therapists and all doctors and all people in general, friends, co-workers, et cetera, you have to find that person that
Definitely.
so that I was thinking about that yesterday as I was driving, because I'm working on a few books, and I was thinking to myself, how do the people on The Voice, and how do the people on all America's Got Talent and all the dancing competitions, how do you think they get to be able to navigate through the competition? They get to navigate through that competition because they're surrounded with people who are only motivating them and lifting them up and saying, you could do this, do it like this will be, and they build a bond with them that and they teach them that, Kelly Clarkson or Blake Shelton or whatever, they teach them to listen to them and to trust them and to trust in themselves. And if they have any, so that's what it takes in life in general, not only
to have people that you can work with, that you trust. And if you're not getting that feeling, to move on and get people that you can communicate with that really have your best interests and will help you move forward.
So my point in saying that is, like, Judy's correct and Matthew's correct. You have to trust your therapist, but honestly, find a therapist that is in line with your philosophy in life. You know what I'm saying? If you don't feel okay with that therapist, then tell your spouse or tell your mother or tell somebody that this isn't the right therapist for me. I need somebody.
And that goes for doctors too. If you're not happy with your doctor, move on.
Absolutely.
Get someone you can work with. And if they're being negative, they're not the right doctor for you.
Absolutely. So Matthew, I'm going to invite you back to the show because we have so much to talk about. We do.
Yeah, sure.
We haven't even tapped into like a lot of the stuff that we need to tap into. But I thought it was important to take the softball and baseball and athlete career and really put it to the forefront of this show because I think people understand that. They don't want to hear about strokes, and they don't, because they're afraid, honestly, that they're going to suffer from one if they listen to our stories. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, people, me too. I mean, for a long time, I was fearful of finishing anything because I thought my life would be over. I thought if I completed something, right, if I was fully successful, not like that little bit of success, but if I was fully successful, then my life, because it came from my stroke, it came from my trauma, it came from my fear of like, what's going to happen next. I don't know what's going to happen next. I'm afraid. I'm really,
nobody knows what's going to happen next.
Right. But that's what I had to learn that. I had to let this brain understand that I could be, I could have suffered a stroke, or I could be walking down the street as healthy as possible. And the truth is, my life could end in 2 seconds anyway. So I had to get to that point where I understood that, but it took me a long time. Did you want to say something, Matthew?
Yeah. It's for me too, it's my own type of, for me too. I like the attitude for you too. This is my life too, right? For me, I like impact my life for the better too. So you got to humble. You got to go to therapy. You got to go to occupational therapy, whatever you pick too, and you got to finish the job, finish the whatever you pick too. But it's the and have a break once in a while too. But it's for me too, a dedication and resilience too. So
and
perseverance too. You got to change your life for the better too. You got to understand about what aphasia for me too, and you too. Uh, I like teaching. I like going to it's maybe a class and explain about what aphasia means and explain about it because lots of people now it's Bruce Willis too, different condition, but it's aphasia too. But it's a life expectancy. It's for me too. But it's you got to be a positive influence too. And that's my story too. It's you gotta stay true to myself and stay
And never
hungry
give up.
too.
And you
And
never gave up.
yeah, exactly right. Yep. Yeah.
So did you,
Yeah.
maybe I talk too much, but did I ever allow you to, because I love this world. Like
Yeah.
this is like, this is what I know. That's why I said
Yeah.
at the beginning of the show how, intricate and how connected we all are because,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but did I ever allow you to share what you tap into when you suffer those down moments? Did I ever allow you to tap into that?
Um, for me too, uh, once in a while, situation maybe, n- not frustrating because it's frustrated is a little too. It's one time it's good for me too. It's a it's too, right? So feel for me it feels like down, but it's not down. It's once in a while. It's maybe two or three times, and that's about it. So it's for me too. It's
How do
I
you get
like
yourself out of it though? Like, what do you
uh
tap into? And I will share with everybody before I forget that it
yeah.
is allowed, you are allowed to have those moments. You
Oh
are
yeah.
allowed to
Yeah.
have those, why me, those
Yeah.
crying moments. I still have them, just so you know.
Yeah.
And it's 30 years later, like,
Yeah.
but it's in general, it's about life. It's not, it's,
Yeah.
so what do you tap into to help you to get out of it?
Um, I I like for me too. I like quiet time too, right? So I like going to sit down and maybe meditation. I like meditation
Okay.
too. Clears my thoughts. Clears my thought. It's now it's um sad or whatever. So okay, turn the music too and for maybe 10 minutes too. And about my it's maybe meditation it's heal my soul too.
Hey guys,
So
it's Dan Romano, host of the number one rated R show, The Dan Romano Show.
Who's that?
I don't
Oh,
know
is that
what
you, Jim?
happened there.
We heard
oh
the Dan
yeah.
Romano show. Jim, is that you? It may be Jim in the back studio. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
that's okay.
Yeah. And
We had God talking to us. I thought it
yeah,
was like
right.
it was like a voice from out of the
Yeah.
midst.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because go to church today too at 6 o'clock too. So it's a regular thing too. The spirit too, right? So passion to be a leader too. So um and tell us about the story too. And I kind of agree so the next step too and figuring out too but
yeah.
it's for me too for not right now working going to rehab and homework it's speech class too so in time maybe figure it out the next thing but for me
Let's
it's yeah
No, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you know, like I said before, we have to have you back on because,
Yeah.
you know, there's so much more that we have to get through. But
Yeah.
And you're
let-
invited to our telethon on
Yes.
October 16th.
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Um,
Beautiful.
But what I want, like, what we like to do is we like to take somebody from, you know, their childhood into their, you know, their teenage years, and so we already touched on your, you know, your sports career, you know, your
Yeah.
sports beginnings. The next thing was how when you were playing college, or and you had to, what was it that you had to get a test to go into college? Was to play
No,
baseball
no,
in
it was,
college?
Yeah. 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 So I went to college
Hang on
too.
one second,
Yeah.
Matthew. What was it,
Yeah.
Judy?
Yeah.
That he had
I
to?
thought it was when you were trying to get on a team and they asked you to do an EKG
Right,
and
right. So
you
Yeah.
how
ended
did
up,
that feel? How did that feel? That's what I wanted to
No,
understand.
it's went to college too. Physical. It's the same thing too. Requires the EKG too. Okay, so whatever, that's fine. And for me too, it's clears me to play now. It's a problem too, right? Okay, so I went to a cardiologist for clearance again too, and huge problem. The valve is leaking too. I went to Weill Cornell in the city too, and there it is. It's the 6 months. It's officially is dead because it's 6 months too, right?
Wow.
You got to change your valve because
Wow.
it's two leaflets left. So okay, so it's open heart surgery. It's go ahead too, fix the valve and play baseball too because it's 18 years old for me too. It's I'm a kid. It's so okay, so fine. And play baseball now. But it's for me too. Um, you got to accept it's your life for me. It's what happened. It's whatever, but it's a true testament too. So yeah, so it's the so it's the in college it's the open heart surgery number one too. So
Wow.
they
That's got to be devastating, you know, to an
yeah
18-year-old to
yeah
not only to not be able to continue going to college where they
yeah
wanted to go to college,
yeah
but to now have to experience a surgery, a major surgery.
yeah, and in college too. Farmingdale State College requires EKG. Uh, I maybe two or three decisions. Go to Hofstra, go to maybe Farmingdale State College, going to Nassau too, but Nassau did not require EKG.
in a way, it was an act of saving your life that
Exactly.
if
Yep.
if they didn't require that, you wouldn't have known, and something could have happened, something really serious. This way,
Yep.
you got it right away and took care
Yep.
of it.
Yep. Is that correct? Yep. Totally right. Yeah. So it's a I like the God or whatever being too. It saved my life. It's guaranteed. But it's but for me
It
too,
was
it's
frightening and devastating, but it
yeah,
saved your life.
yeah,
Because
exactly right. Yep, yep,
That's
yeah. So
incredible.
yeah.
Well, we've been doing this for an hour, believe it or not, just the
Oh yeah.
time just flies. And like
Okay.
I said, Judy's gonna definitely book you within the next few weeks so that we continue this conversation. And honestly, at the end of the show, I'm gonna put continue to be continued because there's so much more that we have to tap into.
Yeah.
Can I just have a question? Can you hear my landscaper
yes, I
outside?
can.
Yeah.
He's moving, he's moving, he's moving.
Yeah, right.
That's
Okay,
why
good.
that's why I have the ear pod in, so you didn't hear him too much, because otherwise I'd be like, there he went to the front.
Okay.
But that's life. What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah,
You need
that's
your
it.
long cut.
Yeah, that's
But
exactly correct.
Matthew, I wanna leave everybody with an inspiring thought. So I want you to if you were in front of some young athletes and you really wanted to inspire them, what would be your words to them?
Dedication, drive, and hope. It's a true testament too. You got to for me too, you got to do your job, do it well too, and the outcome it's is the right attitude for you and me too, and you got to take for granted too, right? Impact your life for the better, and that's my goal too. And stay humbled, stay drive, and stay for forever too. So you got to for me and the athletes too, you want to go to college, you want to play baseball, you want to softball too, whatever. And there is a time for a fairer too, for 2 or 3 times too. But pick up the pieces too, and continue swinging, continue pitching, continue athlete too, whatever you pick too. And for me too, you got to um you got to consider you you got it. You believe in yourself too, and great opportunities in the future. And that's my goal too. Be a positive influence too. So
That's incredible. And we were right along the same line, because what was going through my brain is loss is not a loss if you've
yeah,
done the best you can.
exactly
If
right.
What
you
I want to
play,
add to that is positive perseverance, never give up.
Yep.
yeah, yeah,
Totally right.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So we want to thank you, Matthew.
Yes.
This show is definitely going to be continued. We have so much more to talk to you about, and really, you're very inspiring, the way Judy said, and you're making a difference in so many lives. And we're so appreciative for you to take the time with us.
Yes.
So
Absolutely, man.
yes, thank you so much for joining us today. Judy, did you want to say any last
Well,
final words?
that was my statement. You have to be positive. You have to persevere. When people say it can't be done, you tell them it can be done. Watch.
Yeah.
And never, ever give up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Prove
So
wrong too, right?
say it
Prove me
again.
wrong.
Say it again.
Prove me wrong. That's it.
Prove me
That's,
wrong. Yep.
yep.
Yep. So thank you so much. To be continued, this show. Oh my gosh, we have so much more to talk to Matthew about. We didn't even get into his his wanting to work for the police force, or or his actual stroke. We didn't even talk about like how it felt to have a stroke, or his recovery. I mean, those are all really important details that we need to tap into, and the next show is going to be incredible. So thank you so much. On 3, we always blow kisses. Judy, thank you so much. Jim, thank you so much for everything you do in Long Island for us. On 3, we blow kisses. 1, 2, 3. Bye everybody, have a wonderful day. Talk to you later.
God bless you all.
Bye.